everybody, how you doing? Uncle Vinny here. You know what's coming up? That's right, Health Chat. Grab a cup of coffee, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Hey, another day. Talk Radio 102.3. I'm Dr. Nick Circolone, hanging out with my good buddy Joe, just relaxing. Joe, have you noticed anything in the studio today?
I've noticed a couple things. Yes, shirt, your hat, your background.
Very patriotic. Two things are happening today. One is it's election day, and hopefully everybody's out there, and hopefully you're voting for freedom. And number two, Friday is Veterans Day, and we always want to salute our veterans. So that's why we're wearing our USA shirt. We got our flag, and I got the flag behind me. We're just excited that we live in the freest country in the world, and the guys and ladies that have sacrificed their lives in order for us to be free and for me to be able to sit here and talk about all of that. You know, I have a little sticker. You can't see it on my computer. It says, I stand for the flag and kneel for the cross. That's what it's all about, Joe. It's all about freedom. And I'm hoping that the people that are voting today are voting for freedom and not for this other crapola that's out there. And you know what? I'm getting a little excited about it. You know why, Joe?
Why's that?
I got already dinged by Facebook. So ding me again. Go ahead, ding me. Ding me.
You got dinged.
I had copyright issues. I'm like, for what? Everything we're doing here is like off the cuff. Nobody wrote this down. And now they're trying to say that, you know, oh, it was copyrighted material. Not the music. It was me saying something. And I'm thinking, you got to be kidding me.
Way to go, man. I had no idea.
Yeah, I was stealing copyrighted material. That's like outrageously crazy. We were thinking about what I wanted to do today. And Shay came up with the great idea of, you know what? Let's talk about vets. Let's talk about our freedoms. Let's talk about exactly what this country represents and the people that fight for us and shed their blood and died for us so that you and I can do exactly what we're doing today. So did you vote yet today, Joe?
I did.
Good. Yeah, I voted 2 weeks ago. I voted early voting. I was very excited about it. Some of these races that I've been watching are really close, and I'm like, how could they be close?
Are you one of those guys that traditionally goes on the day of, or do you early vote most of the time?
It depends. It depends on how I feel that year. Like normally I try to go the day of because it's like, oh, it's voting day. Cast my vote. Because you know what? I know who I'm voting for. I'm going to get in trouble, Joe. I see it coming. You know what I mean? I just see it coming.
Don't get dinged.
No, don't get dinged is right. But there is something I did want to talk about. You know, we are excited that we are able to now see veterans. If you are a vet and you go to the VA, you can request to come see us and guarantee you we will take care of you because we love our vets and we want to make sure that they get the best care possible. Sometimes you don't get it at the VA. Sometimes you do, but now you're able to request coming to see me, and that's pretty exciting.
What's your sorry to interrupt.
No. It's all right. It's a free country.
What's your experience, not personally, but just with people you talk to? What do they say about the VA? Because I hear mixed results.
I do too.
Yeah,
I do too. Some get really, really good results and some don't. It kind of depends on what you're going for. I do know that we have a facility now in Chattanooga right off of Shallowford Road. Beautiful facility. And I've heard good things about it. I actually have. I hear some good things about Murfreesboro, but you know, everybody's going to fall through the cracks.
Sure.
You know, they can't deal with all the stuff that they're dealing with. And some of the doctors, you know, they don't care, but that doesn't mean it's just the VA. That's everybody. I mean, you go to other places, the doctors don't care. It's one half dozen the other. But I have not heard anybody going, oh, it's the most horrible thing. Now, years ago it was. I heard some really nasty stories about surgeries that had gone wrong. People were like falling through the cracks. The only thing that I hear bad now is it's hard to get things done in a timely manner. It takes some time. And I think that's just with anybody. We've been doing referrals. I'm just going to kind of digress a little bit, but we've been doing referrals to other doctors. They're backed up until September to get things done. I'm not talking about the VA. I'm talking about in general.
That's insane.
And I can't get stuff done. And it's like, wait a minute, and I'm limited to what we can do for certain patients, like certain insurance companies, Medicare being one of them. I can't order x-rays or advanced imaging. Is that not the craziest thing? Seriously. You know what the other crazy thing is that I can't order for Medicare? PT. I can't order physical therapy for these people. If you need physical therapy, I can't order it. I have to call your doctor up and say, "Excuse me, can you do me a favor and send Miss So and So to PT?" Really? I'm a doctor just like anybody else. Why can't we order? It's because chiropractors have abused some of the things over the years, and now they've taken away some of our privileges, which is ridiculous. And that's why you see these little clinics popping up, Joe. We're going to talk a little bit about that today too. These little clinics, you go in, you snap, crackle, pop out the door. That's all they think this is. I know we're going to have to take a quick break, but when we come back, I'm actually going to talk about why care is so important and who you choose to give you your care. I'm Dr. Nick Circolone. You're listening to Health Chat here with Cowboy Joe, relaxing, taking it easy, and celebrating our vets and celebrating Election Day. How exciting is that? We have the right to vote in this country. If you don't like what's going on, vote. If you like what's going on, vote. So you know what? We have the opportunity because we live in a free country, and I love the fact that we live in a free country. And again, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, who have fought and bled for this country. I can't say that enough because these people sacrificed everything for us, and yet we don't give them enough credit. And I think we need to every single day, not on just a couple of days a year. We need to honor our vets and those who've sacrificed their lives every single day. If you see a vet, thank them. It's funny, not a funny story, but an interesting story. A couple of weeks ago, I was going to my niece's wedding, going to see mom, and I'm going through the airport, and I'm standing there. There was a vet that was standing in front of me. He was in uniform, so he was active duty. He was standing there. Now, 2 years ago, people would go up to him and go, "Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service." I mean, what a whole different dynamic we had when we had a different administration. Now, these guys get nothing. I was standing there watching this. Nobody came up to him. Nobody went up to him and says, "Hey, thank you for your service." Now, I did. I went up to him. I shook his hand. He looked at me like, "Dude, like nobody's ever done that to me before."
Yeah, it's not the norm anymore.
It's not the norm. And it's like, are you kidding me? These people are sacrificing for your freedom. You need to get it together and thank them every single day and every chance you get. What do you think, Joe?
No, I totally agree with that. When you go to the National Cemetery we have here in Chattanooga, or not too long ago, I visited the Battle of Vicksburg. I know it's a little bit different, but the thousands of soldiers that are buried there, just kind of get an idea. They helped mold this country into what it is today, and it really hits home when you're seeing all that. So I know that's for Memorial Day, but it helps you thank the guys that are still doing it or have served.
Oh yeah, my son-in-law is still serving. People don't understand, Joe. Not only do our vets sacrifice for our freedom, but their families sacrifice for our freedom just as much.
Yeah.
We got to give them honor just as much as we do our servicemen, because if it wasn't for their families, they wouldn't be able to do some of the things that they do. And it's not easy. It's not easy. I mean, my son-in-law left back in August for 45 days. My 6-year-old grandson's like, "Where's daddy? Where's daddy? I need daddy." I can't substitute that as grandpa, but I try as best as I can to make sure that we do the best for him. The whole show might be about the vets, but I'm just so excited because if it wasn't for them, we couldn't do what we're doing right now.
Well, and I know you'll agree with this, but just think about it. It's not natural. And this is for those guys that have seen, active battles.
Oof.
It's not natural to be shot at. It's not natural to be, trying for IEDs. You got to worry about that going down the road or whatever it may be. That's not natural. So with the PTSD situations that we have in this country from these guys that have served, it's definitely something we need more research on and need to work to get that better. And just thinking about all that, thinking about the time away from the family, I don't see how you couldn't spend some time and really think about how blessed we are that we are able to live in the free country, and it's all because of what they do.
Absolutely. And what's interesting about that is, unfortunately, PTSD you cannot see. Now, you've seen a wounded soldier, hey, they were wounded in battle. But let me tell you something. These guys that come home, they're wounded too. And we don't see that, so we think everything's okay because we're so into ourselves. We don't see what else is going on. And I will tell you this: if it wasn't for our older vets, our Vietnam vets, I think the guys today would have it even worse because the Vietnam vets actually paved the way for better care for our vets today. Again, when I see a vet, I don't care who it is, how old they are, whatever branch of service they were in, it doesn't matter. Those guys sacrificed. I think we're dealing with, we're getting a little political on this one, Joe, but it's okay. It's a health show, but this is their health. But before in other administrations, we looked at our vets a lot differently. This one, there's so much division in this country of everything over your sex, over your stance as a citizen, and even as a vet. These people are suffering because a few people up on Capitol Hill have no clue, and they just start all this other stuff. That's where all this division's coming from. It's not coming from the people around us. It's coming from the higher up, and they're saying all this baloney, and they're getting people charged up, and they say, oh, there's so much division in this country. I'll tell you what, if there was something that would happen, God forbid, in this country, everybody would pull together and do what needed to be done because we're Americans. We live in the best country in the world. We live in the most patriotic country in the world, regardless of who you are, where you're from, what you do, what you look like. It doesn't matter. We're still Americans. And that's what we got to get back to. I'm on a bandwagon, Joe. I'm sorry. I can't help it. Election is way too important because there's so much junk coming down the pike that's affecting people that can't even make a decision for themselves. You know what I mean? These kids that they're trying to make changes on. They're literally doing medical procedures on kids because they don't think that they should be a certain way. And that's being allowed. And you're sitting here going, what? Are you kidding me? They're now saying that in some states that doctors, if you are dispensing information that is converse to what they want, and they're saying that, that's fake information. We're going to put you up against the board, and we're going to bring press charges on you.
That is insane.
I mean, this is what we're seeing now. So yes, this is a health show, but now we're talking a little bit about politics because politics is going to affect your healthcare regardless. It will affect it. Now, we talked about your healthcare turning into the DMV. That's what it's going to be. I'm seeing it more and more now, Joe, where doctors are specializing and super specializing that they can't even look at a patient that has a problem as a whole. They look at them as that problem, and that's all they're going to work on. Give you a good example. Had a patient in the office, and we've talked about this before, but I want to talk about it again. In the office, they have shoulder pain. They're concentrating on their shoulder. The doctor, excellent doctors, orthopedists going, it could be your neck. So I'm going to send you to the neck guy. Well, you got some hand problems. Let's go to the hand guy. Why aren't these doctors like taking it and going, you know what? I'm going to take your shoulder. I think it's your neck. Let's get an MRI of that. Let's look at that. Let's check it out and see and make sure that you get to the right place. That's not being done. The only place I see that being done is in my office. I know that's a little plug, but it is. When you come into my office, if we have all of these problems, I'm trying to focus in on what the problem is so I can send you to the right place to get the right treatment for what you need. The same person I was telling you about with the shoulder pain, it was coming from her neck. I knew it was coming from her neck. So we were going to go and get an MRI. So she went to the orthopedist. I'm not going to say what group she went to, but she went to one of the groups in town. And they said, well, we can't order an MRI because your insurance doesn't pay for something unless you had care prior to this MRI. What's care? Care could be medication, could be your exercising, could be seeing the chiropractor, could be seeing physical therapy, could have been injections, could be a lot of things. They didn't ask the question. She had enough care to warrant the MRI, but they didn't know what MRI that they were going to order because they weren't sure if it was a shoulder or if it was a neck problem. After evaluating, after finding out what it was, we realized, hey, it's a neck problem. I sent her for an MRI of the neck. Sure enough, she had a bulging disc. She had some spurring. Did she have a shoulder problem? Absolutely. but it was coming from the neck, which then related into the shoulder. So she's going to have work on the neck to take care of that, and then we'll do some PT on the shoulder rather than doing surgery on the shoulder or doing surgery on the neck. Now we know exactly what we need to do, so we'll go and do it. And hopefully we won't need surgery later on. That's where I come in, and that's what the things I do as a chiropractic orthopedist, rather than having someone, crack out the door, not realizing what's going on. And that's what's happening. And I realized this week, Joe. A lot of chiropractors now are either snap, crackle, pop, $29.95. Earl Scheib will shine your shoes and crack your back for $29.95. I'm sorry. Or you're going to a clinic. Before you even sit down, you're going to watch a video. They're going to explain that if a subluxation complex exists in your body, you will die. And it's going to take 25 visits to heal. What credit card would you like to use before you see the doctor? Or you see the doctor, and the doctor then says, what's your credit card number? How would you like to pay for these 25 visits? And here we go. This is exactly what's happening in my profession, and it ticks me off.
So you've been in this profession for a long time.
Yeah, about a week and a half now.
About a week and a half. Long time. So you have seen some things. You have seen things change. When you look at from where you started to where you are now, what would you say is the top 2 or 3 things that are more difficult for the patient? You probably just went over a couple of them right there. But if you were to give your top 2 or 3, what do you think is change for the worse for the patients out there, for you as a doctor?
The insurance companies have created this kind of problem, but it came from the chiropractor. I'm just going to say that. A lot of times, chiropractors saw, we got insurance, we can make money, and they overutilized the system. So when they overutilize the system turns around and goes, hey, we don't want you to do this anymore, so we're going to back off on what we're going to pay. So what happens is they keep backing off. So other people have to come in, and now instead of it being a doctor visit, it's a sales pitch. And I think that's the worst thing that's happened to our profession, is because people are getting sales pitches rather than getting stuff that they really need and getting taken care of. I don't need to see somebody 500 times. I may see somebody on a consistent basis because it is a therapy. But what we're going to do is we're going to do it slowly, and as they get better, then we start spreading them out. I'm not going to say we're going to see you for a month for 3 times a week, and then another month for 2 times a week, and and spread it out. That's not what we're going to do. But that's the worst thing, Joe, is probably the insurance companies, because of the overutilization that we as doctors did way back when. And chiropractic's not the only ones. PTs are being affected, medical's being affected, pain management. Surgeons, pain management, all of that's being affected as well.
Do you think that when you see these quote unquote subscription plans almost from certain places, that's a product of what you're seeing from the insurance companies?
Oh, absolutely, because they can't make any money. We've even talked about doing a cash basis for some of the insurance companies because they pay us pittance. That doesn't cover anything, and especially for my expertise and the time I spend with him. I should do the Earl Scheib, $29.95. Hey, $25. Send you out the door. I can't practice like that, Joe. So we're looking for other ways that we could enhance the revenue, because you need to. I got to pay bills. I got a big facility. Right. We have to pay bills, but I don't want to compromise the care I give the patient. And one of the things that I get from patients, and the reason why I won't change it, is a lot of patients say, the reason why we come to you is because we know you'll get to the problem, you'll fix the problem, you'll send us out the door, and if we have it again, we'll come back. You don't have us keep coming back. And not every patient needs to come back. I'm a firm believer in once a month. Reason being is I get care once a month. I like being adjusted once a month because I feel better. And not only am I working out, but I'm working out at the office. I'm doing my exercise. I'm playing with my grandkids. I have my aches and pains, and I do feel better when I get chiropractic care. So, of course, I'm going to get chiropractic care for myself, and I try to do that at least once a month. Sometimes if I hurt myself, twice a month, depending.
It is interesting just listening to you over the years and other doctors, how bad it is, and it doesn't seem like it's getting much better.
Oh, it's not going to get much better. We're all going to be put into this little tiny little hole where we're going to have to follow suit with everything else. And years ago, used to have independent clinics. Now, either you have these giant clinics or the hospital is absorbing the doctors because there's no way that they can afford to take care of themselves. Oh my gosh, we only have a couple minutes left, Joe. The show just right by. I love it.
Good show today.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. I enjoyed doing and just talking. But if you want to get a hold of me, give me a call at my office at 855-7376. It's 423-855-7376. It's so much fun doing this, Joe. And I keep saying it through the whole show. We are so excited that we're free, that we're able to do this and talk and say the things that we want to say because we live in the best country in the world.
Amen.
I mean, I can't say that enough. I mean, we were truly blessed. And I'll tell you what, yesterday is a canceled check. Tomorrow is a promissory note. Show's been great. Always have fun with Joe. Guys, enjoy. Have a great week. Be safe. Happy Veterans Day. We love you, and we'll see you next week.